Scott Casber from Takedown Wrestling for InsideWrestling.com. Sitting next to me, Double J. I call him J-Rock, Johnny Johnson. He's one of the best technique teachers in the country, one of the best private coaches in the world. J-Rock, good to see you.
How are you, big fella? How you doing today?
Flex 360. I saw you guys demoing this yesterday. This is brand new technical gear designed for high-end athletes to get better, quicker, stronger, faster. Talk to us about the origins of Flex 360.
I like what you're saying, that it's a high-end athlete, but to be honest with you, Scott, it doesn't have to be a high-end athlete. It could be, a grandmom who just likes to walk around the track at the local high school. I mean, the way the suit was designed, it was set up by a guy by the name of Derek Johnson, who kind of worked at a place where they had barrels, and those big barrels, they wrapped big rubber cords around those barrels, and they used to lift those barrels up with the rubber. And so what he wound up doing was they would have the rubber straps just lying around all the time after they dropped the barrels. And he'd pick the cords up, play around with the cords, and feel that pressure. And, you just wind up doing things. It's what people do with, a TheraBand, in essence, is what you see people doing today. So he decided that he wanted to take the cords or the bands and then slide the bands into a fabric and be able to work out with the bands, the resistance from the bands. So instead of you using the bands and just pulling it off of a wall or wrapping it around something, actually having the band inside of the fabric.
So the idea is that the band, the rubber part, is in a sleeve inside, which, by the way, makes it, for me, a technical piece of gear. And so it's wrist to shoulder, and it's also in the lower hat, the bottom, that is ankle to waist.
Yeah, it goes underneath the foot all the way up to the hip. And then for the top, it goes from wrist to wrist. So it's wrapped from one wrist all the way across your back down to your opposite wrist. So you always feel like you have that little bit of resistance here in your shoulders.
So resistance, of course, helps to build muscle. And muscle, if you're looking for... This is one incredible way, by the way, to lose some pounds. Why? Because once you put this thing on, believe me, it's... You remember sweatsuits? Well, this is not a sweatsuit, but you will sweat when wearing this suit, yeah?
Yes, absolutely. It's the way the fabric is set up is you put it on, and you see a lot of people used to wear plastic outfits or people that are using saunas and things of that nature. It's like, in reality, if you put this suit on and you start training in the suit, you will work out enough that you will sweat. I put it on for 30 minutes and did a demonstration yesterday for everyone that was here, and it didn't take much for me to start really sweating in it. And I don't sweat a lot, but with this on, you wind up doing it. It does generate heat. The fabric in and of itself, as I try to open this fabric up, you'll see that it's not porous. So I'm pulling on the fabric, and the fabric is not opening up. So most fabrics, when you put something on, if you pull on it, it'll open right up. So it's letting that air in, so that cools you off. That doesn't keep the heat in. Whereas an outfit like this, the heat stays on top of your body. The suit is contoured to your body, so you always have that heat being generated. And so you got the sweat, but then you also have the resistance, which is, 5-pound curl. It's not much when you start, but then after 30 reps, 60 reps, it starts to wear on you. So the suit in and of itself has that where you can get the sweat out of it, but then also that you get a little bit of resistance from it.
Talk to me about the partnership that is assembled and is beginning to build and promote this, because it's, for the most part, a brand new product for most of us, but it's something you guys have been working on for a while. Yeah,
now, Derek actually has been working on this. It wasn't what it is now, but he's been working on this since, 1997, 98. So that's how the origin of it, and it just kind of built from there. And then from that genesis, then we kind of transferred into what he had in the early 2000s, and it's just built and built and built. The concept of the bands, if you look at the bands and the way that you can adjust the bands, it's adjustable. So for you, after you do a couple reps and you decide, hey, I don't need that amount of resistance anymore, you can release it and lighten up that tension. So maybe you don't want any tension at all. You can keep the bands disassembled. Maybe to just do your last lap you just want to do for conditioning. So that's been, all part of the evolution of this particular suit. It's also had some ventilated areas that they threw on the newer one. So if you were to hold up a newer one, the way they have that underneath the flanks there on the lats, they also have that across the backside now. So it's continuing to improve. It's just like buying a brand new car. Whatever car you have for 2012 or 2013, then the following year they add one or two little things there to make some adjustments. So that's what's being done with the suit.
I'll be a part of the evolution. Where can people find this online? Where can they buy it? I've got to believe it's going to be in retail locations around the country. This is technical clothing for wrestlers, for athletes, and even, as you said, for the grandma walking around the track that wants to intensify perhaps the burn or the workout, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, flex360.com is the easiest way to do it. I mean, you'll be able to order it online.
And that's Flex with a PH?
PH.